It is. All right, we're going to test out a new little segment here. It may stick around, it may not. But basically, I've come up with 7 things, we'll call them. And you guys have the whiteboards because I'm going to present said thing about the Cleveland Browns to you, and you are going to grade them 1 through 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, on how shocked you would be if these things came true during the 2025 season.
So if I think there's no chance of it coming through, I would put a 10.
Yeah, if you'd be shocked out of your
Right.
wildest imagination, a 10.
It's a 10.
If you could see it happening, wouldn't be that shocked, it'd be a number
Got it.
1.
Okay.
And then you guys can grade it, and we're going to see how it all compares. So some of these more crazy than others. Let's start with the first one here, Steve. How shocked would you guys be if Joe Flacco started more than 6 games this season? More than 6.
So 10 would be, oh my God, I can't believe this.
Correct.
0, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
0, 1, yeah.
Okay.
That's the scale,
okay.
yes.
1 to 10. Okay, not 0. More than 6. Okay.
It's a good number, Mike. He picked a good number
Yeah,
there.
he did. Are these odds from Vegas? Or
No, this is just me
Yeah.
made them up.
So I wonder what if Vegas sets a line. Well,
I don't think they
set
have
a line
odds on
everything.
that.
Okay.
All right, I went with 5. I'm right in the middle.
I did the exact same.
5?
Yeah, I went
with 5.
3.
3, okay.
I went 3. Here's why. I think that, well, he's 40. He's fragile.
Yeah.
We know that. I think he's smart enough to know that he can't stand back there and hold the football. You know, if this was a young quarterback whose mental clock wasn't fully developed, I'd be worried. In the past, he hasn't not played that many games because he was hurt.
No, that's true.
He didn't play that many games because in the Browns instance, they brought him in with only 5 games to play.
Right.
And in Indy, they foolishly thought that, well, our future is sitting there. Let's just see what he looks like.
Well, I went with 5. Jason, I'm guessing you did the same for the same reason. Not just because of injury. I mean, he could have an injury at 40, but also because I think they're going to get off to a bad start, and they're going to want to see Dylan Gabriel play. Number 1.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel's getting the first crack.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, he
he
could
is.
play 10, and the kids could each get 3 and
sure.
4. You
But
know?
if the Browns are 1-4 or 0-5, I just like at that point they're gonna play Dylan Gabriel. I
Doesn't
would
it
think.
kind of, to me, I think that comes down to how Flacco looks. If Flacco looks good and they're 0-5, which is very possible.
Right. I'd still bench
It
him.
has nothing to do with Flacco. I'm with Bull. If you're,
Yeah.
we talked about this last week. I don't think you were here. I went to the Washington game last year, and they lost to fall to 1-3, and it was like, that's it. The season's over. And I remember talking to a couple of players in the locker room who were like, we have 13 games in front of us. What are we supposed to do? Like, they were stunned leaving that stadium. 1-3, it's over. It's all over. You play it doesn't matter if Joe throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. You play the kids. Because if you play him, and the reason I went with 5 is because if you play Flacco 6 games, that leaves you 11 to look at Gabriel and Shador. That's not enough. You need more than that.
Yeah, I don't know if they will.
I am on the this is a fact-finding mission. Figure out what you got this year. Figure out what you got and what you need. And if you only have 11 games, if you play Dylan 8 and Shador 3, what do you know at the end of the
I
year?
go back to what Joe Thomas told us, and when
Yeah.
he was on last week, or Monday, was he on
Monday?
Yeah, we asked him this again. He said, oh, you'll know really quickly who could do it and who can't. And look, I'm not saying we'll know the ceiling for either if they only get 2 or 3 starts, but I have a feeling that we might know where the floor is.
But the problem, and I love that when Joe says that, because he said that early in camp, you'll know right away.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't want to happen, we've talked about this before, I don't want to get to the end of the season and you're looking at this going, I think there's a chance that one of these guys might be it.
See, to
because
me,
now you are.
If you have to
that's
squint,
the worst
though,
case
Jay,
scenario
to see it, it's not there.
Well,
I mean, when we saw Joe Burrow his rookie year, Jaden Daniels last year, we're like, oh, damn, that's what it looks like. And so I think, again, I don't think either of these guys are franchise quarterbacks, and I'm kind of guessing that that's what the Browns think too. That's why they're gearing towards 26. We might not need to see 8 games from one of these two to know it's not there.
And if it is become abundantly clear that they are not it, then I guess you go back to Flacco and
It's possible. That's true.
And you know where you're going.
Yeah, but when you do, now it's really over. You're not 1-5 now. You're 2-11, and then there's no sense to go back to Flacco because he might screw around and win some games.
I'd be surprised if Flacco's playing week 6. I think the only way he's playing week 6 is if obviously he's healthy and the Browns are surprisingly doing well.
I feel confident he will still be the starter
Okay.
week 6.
All right.
All right, let's get to the next one, guys. How shocked would you be if a skill player not named Jerry Jeudy finishes with 1,000 or more yards this season? It could be a running back with 1,000 rushing yards, any receiver, tight end, not named Jerry Jeudy. How shocked would you be if anyone other than Jeudy finishes with 1,000 plus yards?
I originally wrote down 10 because I thought when you mentioned Jeudy, I thought you were going to say another 1,000-yard receiver. So I changed it from the 10 that I had originally.
Okay, guys, what do you got?
Let's say 7 for 6
Jeez.
and 10 for Bull.
Well, here's why I said 6.
Well, I think Judkins, if he is
But
the
he's
player,
not going to play.
No.
he is going to play. He's
Well,
gonna
but
play.
if he was going to play the whole season, then I would have had if Judkins was with the team now,
Well,
this would have been a 3.
If he plays 12 games,
I don't think he's going to get 1,000
You don't?
yards. I don't think so.
he'd have to average 80 yards a game.
Judkins
That's a
isn't
lot.
he's not the one I had in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, who'd you have?
It's David Njoku. And I know that he's
1,000
Wow,
yards.
that's a lot for a tight end.
It is, and he's never done it before. I get that,
Yeah.
but he's in a contract year, and Flacco loved throwing to him.
But they just drafted Harold Fannin. They're going to get him involved a lot more than
fine.
any other tight end they've
Who's
had.
Joe going to throw to? The rookie or the guy he had the chemistry with a couple years? I'm not saying
I don't
Fannin can have 300, 400
Yeah.
yards, whatever. I'm just saying, like, I didn't put one,
No, all right, that's true.
but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility because Flacco and David had great chemistry a couple years ago. Go back and look at Njoku's numbers in those games Joe started. I mean, I know you can't really extrapolate it over a whole season, but if you did, I bet you it was over 1,000.
It was.
I think Judkins.
And it's a contract year for him. David's playing for a new deal.
Are you getting any word, any thoughts, any whispers on what might happen to Quinshawn from the league?
The only
Because I think his contract's going to get done.
I don't think the league is the hang-up on the contract.
Yeah, it's the
think
money. It's
well,
the guaranteed
I
money.
think it's I think it's going to get done sooner than later. But I've thought that for a couple weeks, and
I
here
know.
we are at the end of
But
August.
if you're Kevin,
I think he's going to sit some games,
Yeah, I do too now.
but I don't know how many.
right. He's just, to me, Judkins was the only one. Like, if you would ask me this question before this happened with Judkins, I would have said, like, 2, because I was convinced he was going to have
Because if you
1,000
play 17 games, what do you need? 60 yards
Yeah,
a game?
I just don't think he's going to play enough to get the 1,000 yards this
And
year.
are you saying, like, if in combined yardage between passing and receiving yards, or no, you're talking 1,000 yards?
I was thinking more of 1,000 yard in their respective situation.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that might be a little difficult.
And I'm not predicting David Njoku to have 1,000 yards.
Are you giving it a shot? I get it.
But
I
I'm
get
just
it.
saying it wouldn't totally shock me.
you guys saw the clip of he and Flacco
Yeah.
sitting
Yes.
on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love their relationship.
It's like they're 7, and I love it. I'm here for it.
All right, next one. How shocked would you guys be if the Browns don't finish last in the AFC North this season? Any other spot but 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st? How shocked would you be if the Browns weren't the last place finisher in the AFC North?
With 10 being blown away.
10 would be blown away,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Yeah.
9 for Jay, 10 for Jason,
9.5.
Right in the middle.
I left, like if Burrow got hurt, maybe, or Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I guess it's
That's my
possible.
thing. If we're going to say Joe Flacco's
Yeah.
likely to get hurt, then we have to say Aaron Rodgers is likely
I
to
would
get
think
hurt.
Rodgers is even more likely than
because he's
Flacco.
coming off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Achilles
yeah.
a couple of years
When's
ago.
the last time the Steelers finished last in the division?
I don't know that you
who
can.
knows?
That's
Hey,
a great question.
It was a
in
9.5,
80s.
Jason.
was probably in
I
the
don't think
80s,
it's likely.
The dinosaurs
even
were
if
roaming
Burrow,
the earth.
even if Burrow and/or Rodgers gets hurt,
They're still.
I would still probably think the Browns will finish
Yeah.
last. But I leave open a slight possibility.
The Browns are carrying 12 rookies on the 53-man roster.
Well, they have how many?
6
Five or
undrafted.
6
6 undrafted.
6
undrafted free
undrafted
agents.
rookies. No, 6 undrafted
Yeah.
rookies.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Can you believe the Vikings are carrying 7? Because I assumed the Browns
Are they
would have-
really?
Yeah. I thought the Browns would have the highest number. Minnesota's
And
got
that was
7.
a team that was, 14-3 last year?
They're carrying 7 undrafted
Yeah.
rookies.
And in fairness, the Bond wouldn't have been undrafted if it wasn't for the off-the-field stuff.
I know it's not on our topic list, but did you guys, did you do Bailey Zappi or not? Like
We touched on it yesterday.
Oh, you did?
We're talking a little bit about it in the TV show, too.
Oh, good.
With the quarterback
what was the consensus
hire.
yesterday on what that was all about? What, like, You just want to have a fourth quarterback?
I just want to have a veteran in the mix.
Yeah. So that if it all does go to hell, maybe you bring up Bailey. He played the start of the 17th game last year, didn't he?
Correct.
He did.
Yes.
If he's your safety net, though.
That's your week 17 quarterback. Bailey's happy.
This is going to make people very angry, but I think part of the reason they brought him in is if that Joe got hurt and Dylan became the starter, they'd want him to be the backup.
Listen, that's why I wanted to discuss it. To me, that's exactly what it was.
It's the second topic in the TV show.
Okay, then we'll hold our fire. But to me, it said they do not have confidence that Shedeur
At least
is
not
ready.
yet. At least not yet.
All right, next one, guys. How shocked would you be if our guy Andre Schmidt turns out to be a Pro Bowl kicker this year?
How shocked would I be?
Former Lou Groza Award winner, led the UFL in field goals last year. He just beat out Dustin Hopkins in a kicking competition. So how shocked would you be if he turns out to be a Pro Bowler? 9.75.
Both like the Russian
points.
judge in gymnastics. He is not given a 10.
No.
I had 8 and switched to 7. I think they're going to be kicking a lot of field goals. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. Who knows with kickers?
I know.
Who knows?
You never know.
I mentioned on Monday, the best kicker in the league never played high school or college football. So it's just like, God, that's
why you don't pay kickers
and that's
or
where
draft
kickers.
kickers.
That's where these stories happen. If you think about it, Dustin Hopkins was kind of one of these stories. When we signed him, we said, this guy's got no leg.
Right.
He goes 8 of 8 on field goal tries over 50 yards. That's Justin Tucker stuff.
Yeah.
That would have been a 10 if you would have asked me that before the season.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be a Pro Bowl kicker.
Well, whoever thought Tyler Hunt would be a Pro Bowl quarterback? You never know how many kickers are going to pull out of the Pro Bowl.
Ridiculous. He should not have been the Pro Bowl.
It's the worst exception. It's the worst example of a player making the Pro Bowl that I've ever seen.
Ever. By far.
Ever.
Agreed.
But as Mike and I argued on Monday, when he retires, the first paragraph of his obit of his retirement story will be he was a Pro Bowler in 2013.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It is. It's absolutely.
And then somebody who was
To me, that was the day the Pro Bowl died. Like, there's been a lot of deaths along the way, and it's kind of death by a million cuts. But when he made the roster, I said, okay, that's it. You're telling me there's no reason to watch this game. Because it's played by guys that are mid.
Yeah.
Not exceptional.
By the way, I saw this interview. I don't know how old this is. I think it's pretty new. Has nothing to do with politics, but President Obama was talking with Jason Tatum.
Okay.
And he was ripping him for how bad the NBA All-Star game is.
Good.
He was. I'm guessing this might have been a year ago because.
This was during the Team USA documentary.
Okay. How long ago was that?
Last year.
Okay.
Well, he's not wrong.
He was like, you guys. It's an embarrassment to the sport.
He's absolutely right.
A little public shame. You never hurt anyone.
Nope. All right, we got 3 more of these guys before we
flogging.
move on to our last topic of the YouTube show. How shocked would you guys be if the 2025 rookie class just turned out to be absolutely awesome?
I'm so disturbed by Mike's picture. It's a little distracting.
How
You're welcome.
surprised would I
If
be?
the 2021 rookie class turns out to be awesome.
And obviously, there's your own definition of awesome. You could determine what range you want to caliber or quantify as awesome. But how shocked would you be
I
if
think
this
I might
this
be a little
class?
high, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it.
Let's see what you got. 3,
Okay.
4, 3.14.
Pie.
That's fine.
3.1415926.
Look at you.
Jason, you are the least optimistic, even though it's just
still
by a
pretty-
slight,
we're all the
slight
same
margin.
ballpark.
Point.
Yeah.
Slight margin.
You pessimist, you.
Right? Jeez. Oh, man.
Quick reasons. I love the linebacker. I love the running back. I love Graham in the middle. I mean,
I like
I
Fannin.
love Fannin.
Yeah.
I said to someone upstairs earlier this week, this will be Andrew Berry's best draft claess.
It
so
better
far.
be.
Well, I mean, it's not a high bar.
No.
But
Well,
when I
the bar is on the floor,
it
Jay.
is. All you gotta do is step over it.
Yeah, right.
Can you vertical a phone book?
Even I could jump over that bar.
But I think this.
That was good, Bull.
think this has the potential. To be his best draft class by a mile.
I said yesterday, and I think you agreed with me, it's the first time I've been excited about a Browns draft class in the Andrew Berry era.
Yeah.
It's not only have they been bad, I was not excited. Like, and
Anthony
part of that they
Schwartz?
didn't have a lot of first-round picks, but like, have we ever been a week before the season? in this show's history, not that long, and been like, all right, I'm excited about this rookie. And that
Yeah.
no.
I haven't.
But yes, there's legitimate reasons to be excited about a number of guys they drafted. Will they all pan out? Who knows?
Yeah.
But there's reason to be excited about a lot of guys.
I think the first 4 picks in the draft have the potential to start for the entire season. And when we look back on it.
Gabriel was the 4th pick, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'm talking about These are the guys I love.
No, Fannin was the 4th pick.
Oh, that's right.
Fannin
Yes.
and Judkins. I think
Top 4 picks.
those guys have the potential to be long-time starters with this football team.
And Dylan Sampson's going to get an opportunity early.
He will.
Yep.
And I think he has a chance to be a good, 1B back.
Sure.
So
maybe
change of pace guy.
maybe our running back of the future were our 2 draft picks.
Yeah.
At running back
Hopefully.
this year.
2 more, guys. How shocked would you be? We've asked this question before. We asked it last year. Let's ask it again. If someone other than Myles Garrett finishes with 10 or more sacks this season for the Browns, someone other than Myles Garrett, a feat that has never happened during his tenure with Cleveland.
Well, didn't Clowney get the 9.5?
9.5, yeah. But never double digits.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Listen, I was really high on Alex Wright last year, and I was hoping he'd get to double digits. He hasn't been able to stay healthy and be productive enough. 10 sacks, like Myles Garrett makes it look easy.
He does.
10 sacks is not easy, especially for the number 2 guy. And you look at the new guys that we talked about. Well, Schwessinger's a middle linebacker. He ain't
He's
getting 10
not getting
sacks.
there. Yeah.
Mason Graham's a defensive tackle.
He's gonna stop the run, but
He's
not
not
get to the
getting 10
quarterback.
sacks.
Yeah.
Like, who's getting 10 sacks? Who's the most likely guy? Yeah. It might still be Alex Wright.
That is.
But I don't love
Mike,
his chances.
I got a quick question for you if you could look this up.
Shoot.
In the last couple of years, have they had anybody, all of the other players, what was their combined sack total?
Oh, we did this. It was not very high.
It was, I don't know that it was
Yeah.
even reached double digits 1 or 2 of those years. Like everybody else combined.
Well,
Here's a great question, over
Yeah.
under. Is Myles or everybody else going to lead the team in sacks?
Yeah, how many?
Like, I'm not sure that.
Since Myles Garrett joined the Browns, how many sacks does he have, and how many
How
does
much
the rest
does
of the
everybody
roster?
else have? That's a great
I remember there was
project.
one year. I think it was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
They didn't
I
get
think
to 10, I don't
Taven
think.
Bryan was second
that
with
was
like 2.
That was the first year of UCSS. That was
Yeah.
23.
What do you have, 2.5 or
He
something?
had 3 sacks.
How awful is that? Your
mean,
number
like
2
last
sack
year-
guy. Guys get 3 sacks in a game.
Yeah.
Our number 2 sack guy, 3 for the year.
What do you got, Mike?
Get him.
I'm just saying,
help.
like last year, for example,
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be as close as you think it could be, even though it's way closer than it should be.
Right.
Outside of Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith had 5, Tomlinson had 5, Ogbo had 5, JOK had 5,
Okay.
McGuire had 2.5.
That's nice depth.
Yeah.
You got 4 guys with 5 sacks.
Well, but some of those guys are gone, right?
No, they are gone.
A lot of them are gone.
Yeah.
Zadarius had 5, Tomlinson,
Gone.
Ogbo, and JOK had 3. Sorry if I said 5. They
Oh,
had
you
3.
did say 5.
So
Okay.
their next 4 leading sack guys are
Didn't add up to-
three of them are gone and one of them's hurt.
And they
The
didn't
next-
add up to his total.
The next 4 equaled Miles. It was 14-14 if you combine
Okay.
The next 3,
the next.
yeah, right.
Yeah, the next
Right.
3.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
All right, last one, guys. This is simple.
That's why I wanted to be traded.
How shocked would you be, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, if the Browns ended up making the playoffs this season? How shocked would you be?
There you go. Way to get in the game, guys. I like it.
107.
I don't have a decimal point. Mine's just 117 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Scale busted.
Scale is broken.
That's great.
I mean,
I'm leaving a 1.
You never know.
Yeah,
You never know. We
Never.
didn't. None of us expected the Browns to go to the playoffs 2 years
Well,
ago.
last
but-
year, look at Washington. Now we
Right.
don't have Jaden Daniels.
No.
We have Joe Flacco.
You
Yeah.
can't even say it without laughing.
I can't say
We
it
got
without
Jaden
laughing.
Daniels' dad.
Jaden Daniels Sr.
Yeah.
It's I never like to say there's no chance.
No. Yeah.
So I'm saying there's a chance.
In reality, it's
But-
like a 9.5. I mean, there's always surprises every year, but the Browns, outside of maybe the Saints, on paper look like the worst team in football.
Yeah, to me they do. There are, I keep coming back to, and this is why I ultimately said on Monday, and I thought that was a great topic, by the way, and I heard I got a lot of feedback on it. It was the question of, if we throw a top 5 quarterback on this Browns team, are they a Super Bowl contender? I just look at, I think our wide receiver room is so woefully deficient and inadequate that, to me, to have success at the quarterback, unless you're Tom Brady or recently Patrick Mahomes, you need 2 really good options at wide receiver and then another option either at tight end or running back. There's so much you need to set him up for success. You need a left tackle that's going to keep him healthy.
Well, when you don't
and
have,
I just don't know that we have any.
The combination of one of the worst quarterback situations in the league, and one of the worst skill position groups in the league.
I think we do have the worst.
Is a bad combination.
Like,
you don't win a lot of games that way.
Right, and I think if there were a rating for skills positions in the NFL, someone might do this. But we're 32, and I don't even need to.
Bill Barnwell did it. They ranked 31st.
Who did he have below?
Was that did that include quarterback, or was it just running back?
No, running back, receivers, and tight ends.
I'm throwing the quarterback in there.
I haven't seen that.
Like, who did he have at 32?
Probably the
I'll
Saints.
pull it up, but I had it. Hold on.
No, but Saints got Alvin Kamara. He's way better than anybody.
The Raiders then?
Saints have Olave. He's been hurt, but he's,
I just think for us it's 32, and it's.
I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter if it's 31 or 32.
No, you're
terrible
bottom of the barrel, and that's why I say, like, God, to throw a quarterback in there and expect that now it's all going to be rosy, and that's what it has to be if you're a Super Bowl contender.
Let me refrain. Yeah. I was incorrect. He had the Browns at 29.
So who's below?
Of the Patriots, who were number 30.
Okay.
The Panthers, 31, and that was before they traded away Adam Thielen, and the Titans at 32.
I don't think Adam Thielen
is past his
is not moving the needle.
Yeah,
the Titans.
They have Calvin Ridley.
They have Tony Pollard.
They're very thin. They're like the Browns.
I don't know.
Like Bill said,
I mean,
if you're 29, 30, 31, 32, you're splitting hairs.
It is nitpicking at that point.
By the way, the team they have 28, one spot ahead of the Browns, the Buffalo Bills. Which I think is
Josh Allen is true. I mean, they shouldn't be that low.
No, I think that's egregiously
Who's 27,
low.
Mike?
27, one spot ahead of the Buffalo Bills are the New York Jets. And the Giants are 26.
He has the Jets with better skills players than the Bills.
Well, I mean, Breece Hall and James Cook,
Wilson.
That's about a wash.
Well, yeah.
Garrett Wilson is better than anybody on the Bills receiving core.
Yes.
The Bills got Kincaid, who's a solid tight end.
Bills.
They don't have a lot of skill.
Well, maybe that's our control.
Who's top 5, Mike?
If Josh Allen takes
top 5?
Yeah.
Number 5 is the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
4, San Francisco.
With a couple of guys that they drafted in the 3rd round.
Yep.
5th round. You keep saying 3rd. It's the 5th. You're giving them too much credit.
I am giving them too much credit.
And
Number
they brought in Devontae Adams.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals are 3,
Bengals are 3.
Number 2, the Detroit Lions. And number 1, the defending Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles.
Saquon and AJ.
It's an interesting debate between the Bengals, Lions, and Eagles as to who's the best. Those are clearly the top 3 in terms of skill position.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
And that doesn't include if it included quarterback, the Bengals would be 1.
Does not include quarterback. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
the Bengals would be 1, and the Browns would probably be 32.
I think so.
If he included quarterback. Who are the other teams behind the Browns? The Titans,
Carolina,
Patriots,
and
Carolina.
Yeah, the Browns would definitely be 32 if you included quarterback. Because at least we don't know if Cam Ward's going to be good, but like you'd rather have Cam Ward than what the Browns have.
Right.
You'd certainly rather have Drake May, and I'm high. I know you are too, Mike, on Bryce Young. I think he's going to be solid this year.
Did you guys like that game before we move on?
Good game.
Decent? All right, cool.
I liked
we'll keep it in the rotation.
Keep it
All right,
in.
let's